There's a few things I like to do to get a piece ready to be sent out in the mail. Now, this one in particular has been exhibited at a local cafe, and it got bumped around a little bit, so the corners just need some freshening up. I'm using acrylic paint. I consistently use black. I find that it sort of frames the piece. If the buyer doesn't want to add a frame, it smartens it up just fine. And acrylic is fast drying and a lot cheaper than the oil paint that I do my paintings in. I often forget to sign them. I think that's because as artists, we don't really ever know when a painting is finished, but I went ahead and signed it, and I always save the bags that the canvases come in, and with a Sharpie I add the size that it is so I can file these bags away and then reuse them when it's time to prepare them for shipping. So this finished painting will go back in the bag that it arrived to me in when it was a blank canvas. Easier said than done. Sometimes this gives me a little bit of a struggle. It's a nice way to reuse plastics, and it makes it a little more waterproof in case the delivery happens on a rainy day. Just using packing tape to seal that one end up. I'm adding a thank you card personalized to the buyer with a bill of sale, and I'm going to put that on the front. A little show of appreciation for supporting my artwork. Measuring tape, utility blade, some scissors, some tape, and here I'm using packing material. It's insulation board. I found it at the local hardware store. It's an inch thick. It's made of styrofoam, and it's virtually indestructible. But with a really thick utility blade, I can slice through this and build myself a fantastic protective box for the painting. So I've traced the outline of the painting on my material. I'm going to cut 2 of those for the top and bottom of my styrofoam box. These will be the sides. And once you've got this box built around the painting, it is incredibly strong and it resists dents and dings so well. So I prefer this over other packing materials. A sheet of this stuff at my local hardware store is about $20. It comes in a 4-foot by 8-foot sheet, and as an adult who drives a minivan with no children, only for art supplies, it fits comfortably on the floor of my Dodge Caravan, so I can load up on these and keep them in the studio for shipping. It's great that they come in big sizes, so I can cut them down to anything I need. It is a little bit messy. You can see some of the styrofoam balls are on my tabletop there. I'll have to vacuum afterwards, but for as many times as I've sent paintings out in this material, I can happily say that they've all arrived safely. Time for wrap this entire thing. It's going to take a couple of goes because this piece is quite big. The painting itself was 30 by 40, and with the addition of the inch-thick foam material, I'm going to have to wrap this a couple of times. Kind of big to manage. I think I'll switch to my little roll of tape just to tack it in place, and then once I've got the paper where I want it, then I'll use my big packing tape to make sure that there's no little areas that the paper could snag and get ripped off the package, you know, in transport. Not quite gonna cover the whole thing. And it's not really imperative, but it does look a lot better. It's a better appearance if it has the brown paper over it instead of this shiny, you know, whatever insulation material it is. So I'm just going to do my best to cover up this and tack it with the Scotch tape, and then when I've got my address written on the front, then I'll wrap it in the packing tape so I don't have to try to write with the Sharpie over the tape. It doesn't take as well. And I do suggest you write the address right on the paper. Don't rely on a packing slip because those can fall off and then your package can get lost. I've heard of an artist that's happened to. So use a packing slip, yes, but also write the full address on your package. I put a little piece of promotional material in the top corner, and then I add my packing tape to all of the seams over all of the writing because that's just the easiest thing I find. And seal up all of these little edges that could snag because we don't want the paper ripping off and losing all of the delivery information. There we go.